Hello, sir. Good evening. I'm
Yes, sir. Please.
Harmanjit Sai,
Yes. Yes.
and I'm from Shri Guru Nanak Dev Khalsa College. So my question is basically that you keep on saying that truth or Brahma is formless.
Brahm. Brahm. Yes.
Brahm, yeah, it's formless.
Yes.
But there are millions of people who keep on practicing devotional worship to form. So, sir, what is wrong with worship in form?
See, first of all, you have to understand where do all forms come from. Hmm? You have seen Buddha statues in 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 Kandahar, in Bamiyan, in Sarnath, and you have also seen them in China and Japan.
Yeah,
Right? Have you noticed the difference between the Buddha statues that you find in India, Afghanistan, versus the ones that you find in, let's say, Japan or even Tibet?
I haven't looked at very,
You haven't looked at them. I'll tell you.
yeah,
The Buddha in Japan looks extremely Japanese.
okay.
And could Buddhism reach Africa? The African Buddha would be very, very African in his shape, features, and form. That's what is wrong with form. The form that you worship is nothing but a reflection of your own self. So when you are worshipping a form, you are actually worshipping just your own ego. The form that you worship is coming from your own imagination, and the form that you worship is coming from your own identity. It will be very difficult for an Indian to worship a Negroid Buddha.
Precisely.
Are you getting it? There is a reason why the Buddha grew a flat nose when he reached Japan. Because Japanese cannot worship an Indian looking Buddha. Please understand, the one you worship is nothing but a projection of your own ego. Why do you want to worship your own ego? Is that not the worst kind of sacrilege against the truth if you worship form? All the gods and deities that you worship in India, don't they look very, very Indian?
Yes, they do.
And in North India, they look North Indian.
Yeah,
And in South India, they look.
South Indian.
And in Bengal, if you look at Devi, she looks quite Bengali.
Yeah,
And if you look at how the form of Sri Ram has been evolving over the decades, you look how we have changed the form of Sri Ram to suit our political and religious tastes as they are today. If you look at a Ram statue or picture belonging to the last century or to the century before last one, even till the 1980s, Sri Ram is a very gentle looking North Indian fellow. And if you look at how Sri Ram is being shown today, what kind of form do you see? Very muscular,
yeah,
almost similar to a Bollywood or Hollywood action hero.
yeah.
Where is the form then coming from? Is the form divine? No, the form is coming from your own current political and social tastes. That is what is wrong with form. The form is your own ego projected on the screen. Just as you have a projector in a movie theater, you see the thing in front of you on the screen. But where is that image on the screen coming from? It is coming from a place behind you. Similarly, all these forms that you worship are coming from a place within you. Your own ego is projecting itself into something and then you start worshipping it, which is quite stupid. It's like worshipping your own shadow, thinking that it is separate from you. Is your shadow separate from you? So what will you get if you start worshipping your shadow? Or if you start worshipping your reflection in the mirror? Will you get something? Your form is your own reflection in the mirror. just ornamented, just amplified, nothing else. And that's why those who have known have always said that the truth is formless. I hope you are not just letting it pass by. Is it something that you can understand?
Yes, I can understand.
You can understand that, right? So man creates form according to his own tastes. Why do you think all the gods and goddesses all around the world, irrespective of the religion or culture or country or century, why do all the gods and goddesses have hands? Please tell me. Why don't they have antennas like cockroaches?
Because we simply can't just assume that.
Because we have hands. Since we have hands, so our gods have hands. Do you get this?
Yeah.
Why do our gods speak our own language? Does an Indian god speak French ever? But we don't exercise any bit of intelligence. We don't ask why are our gods necessarily speaking our language? Why are French gods or Greek gods not? You don't have French gods, you have Greek gods. Why are Greek gods not found in India? Why were Indian gods not worshipped in Greece? Why do gods keep changing? In the Rigvedic era, you are worshipping Varun and Agni and Mitra. Why are you not worshipping them today? Why have those forms been forgotten? From where did new forms come up? From where did new gods and goddesses emerge? They all emerged from man's mind. They are our own projection. They are all coming from here. And it's so stupid to worship your own mind, your own imagination. I have to worship the truth, Satya, not my own Kalpana.
Got it, sir.
You look around and you will see how obvious it is. How obvious it is. Even if you say the gods have to be a little different from us, the maximum that you do is instead of 2 hands, you show them with 10 hands. But you still show them with hands. Instead of 2 eyes, you will show somebody with 1 eye, just 1 eye. But you will still show someone with eyes. Even if you show someone in a non-human form, let's say in the form of an animal, a god in the form of an animal, such gods have been found all over the world in all cultures. God in the form of an animal. Still the animal will be anthropomorphic. Very closely related to human beings. It will think like human beings. It will have human intentions. Is that not so? Now, do animals have human thought and intention? No. But even if you worship an animal god, it will be almost human. So that again proves what we are worshipping. We are just worshipping our own form. And therefore, the highest spiritual philosophies have always said that the truth is formless. However, if you can very constructively, very creatively utilize form to remind you of the truth, then the form can help for a while, just for a while. But to think that the form is the truth is absolute stupidity. The form, I fully agree, can be useful for a limited duration. It can have a limited utility for a limited duration. That much is all right. But to think of the form as the ultimate truth is just sacrilege and simply pointless. And no intelligent person does that.
Sure, sir. Thank you, sir.
Charji, I have a follow-up on this. Charji, in Indian mythology, in Hindu mythology, there are a lot of gods and a lot of forms that we worship, including the form of Krishna, Rama. So what would be the right way of worshipping them? So right now we understood that all the forms are corrupted by the human conditioning and the way human has been trained to look at. Like the current Rama is a bodybuilder or muscular man like us. But Rama of the old ages is much more leaner. So what would be the right way of approaching him? So because every form would be corrupted. So what's the right way of looking at a Krishna or Rama?
See, you want to look at a form and you want to be reminded of a higher truth. Otherwise, the form is useless. Let's be very clear about it. If the form does not remind you of a truth beyond the form, then the form has not succeeded on you. So when you look at Krishna, I too have a little Krishna form in my room. I have a Buddha form as well. I have a Shiva form as well, since we are talking of forms. And I have a big picture, as you all know, of Saint Kabir. The purpose is to be reminded of something beyond their faces. Instead, if I look at the form itself as the final, then I am deluding myself and also doing injustice to their memory. So, if you want to talk of Sri Krishna in particular, the moment I look at the face of Sri Krishna, or even the flute, or the morpunk, the peacock feather, I should immediately be reminded of the Bhagavad Gita. That's what. That's the purpose of the Krishna form. If I look at Krishna and immediately the verses of Gita do not start floating in my mind, if that song does not immediately, spontaneously arise when I look at Sri Krishna, then I am being unfair to Sri Krishna. Who is Sri Krishna? Not a person, but the giver of the Gita. Somebody once asked me, who is Krishna? I said, the one the Gita comes from. That's the very and the only truthful definition of Sri Krishna. In some other sense, the Gita is Krishna. But the Gita does not have a face. So Sri Krishna is then the face of Gita. So if you look at that face, the face of Sri Krishna, immediately the Gita must come to your mind. But for that you must have, first of all, studied the Gita and truthfully known the true meaning of its verses, not some corrupted meaning. Are you getting it? Now what is happening is, just so that you can be attached more to the form of Krishna than the truth of Krishna, even the verses of Gita are being corrupted. Because if you will read the Gita truthfully, then you will know that the Gita itself is Sri Krishna. There is actually no Sri Krishna beyond the Gita. How can there be a Sri Krishna beyond the truth that he has revealed? The entire truth is contained in the Gita. Krishna is Gita, Gita is Krishna. But that does not happen. When you go to Krishna temples, there's so much commotion and color and merrymaking and sights and visuals. But there is no Gita. There is no understanding. What is Gita? Gita is just two things, Atmagyan and Nishkam Karma. And in that, all 18 chapters of the Gita are contained. Self-knowledge and selfless action. Knowing the self, and once you know the self, you drop it, so action is selfless. Self-knowledge and selfless action, that alone is Gita. So when you look at the Krishna statue, self-knowledge must immediately arise. You must know that you are not. Looking at that statue must have that kind of effect on the mind. I stand in front of the deity and immediately I must dissolve. I must know I am not. That is self-knowledge. And to know that you are not, you must be someone who has immersed himself totally in the Gita. But instead of immersing yourself in the Gita, if you just sing and dance around a Krishna statue, that is not going to help. Not at all, unfortunately. So that's the purpose of the Murti. I once said, there is an entire chapter on this one. Murti dwar hai amurt ka. Murti dwar hai amurt ka. That's the utility of the Murti. The murti should lead you to the amurt. The form should lead you to the formless. And if the form is not leading you to the formless, then you're deceiving yourself. The entire purpose of the form is so that it can act as a door, an entrance into the formless. Otherwise, there is no point. So Krishna must mean Gita. Ram must mean Yoga Vasishtha. Shiv must mean Ribhu Gita or Shiv Sutra. That is what they stand for. Because that's what in India. Hinduism, Sanatan Dharma has been all about Ram, Krishna, Shiv. In these three, all other gods and goddesses, they just dissolve. And in some sense, even Ram and Krishna dissolve into each other. That's the Vaishnava stream. So even if I take these three mean nothing other than the Bhagavad Gita, Yoga Vasishtha, and the Ribhu Gita. The true representative of Shivatva is Ribhu Gita. The true representative of Ramatva is, and the true representative of Krishnatva, when I say these, I mean the essence. The true representative of Krishna is Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So that's what the form must stand for. Otherwise, the form is wasted on you.